Okay, making a sphere. Making a sphere is pretty easy if you just follow correct technique. If don't do any other interpretation that you think might be right. The key to making a good sphere is staying circular. Circular, circular. So what you want to do to make a good circle, you want to make a 2-inch diameter circle. And to make a 2-inch diameter circle, you are going to make sure that the distance between your center point and your pencil on your compass is 1 inch. Okay, that would be your radius, which is your half measurement of your circle. So that's about 1 inch apart, and you'll notice that the arrow on the compass is pointing to the 2, which is going to tell us that's going to make a 2-inch circle. So tighten it down once you have approximately 2 inches. You're going to be making 3 circles total, but I'm just going to show you the one right now. The outline for this circle, try to keep it light. If it's real heavy, it's going to flatten the thing, although you are going to have a heavy value around the outside, so it shouldn't matter too much. Okay. There we go. So, next up, when you are having a sphere, light sort of dissipates or kind of flows over it evenly. So imagine I have a little spotlight kind of pointing at the side. You're going to have a highlight area, a little hot spot where the light is the most intense around it. Okay? That's going to be a little guideline. We don't want to see the guidelines when we're done. Everything should be circular. As I was looking around at some of the attempts around the classroom, there was a lot of ones that were just going straight across and not pulling all the way around into a closed form. So, circle highlight, leave a lot more space on this bottom left diagonal than on this upper right diagonal. You're going to start a second guideline circle around it, around this first highlight. Again, you want it shifted to where you have a little bit of space on the upper right, a lot of space down on the left. Okay? That's because we have our little flashlight shining some light. Okay? Isn't that cute? All right, so on the opposite side, you're going to end up having a shadow in a little bit. But that's basically what we got going on. So what you do when you first start, remember, you want to think about your gradient. You want to think about a heavy value dissipating to a light value. But this gradient, when I'm making it right now, is very straight lined. Our circle is going to be very curvy. But this value over here, nice and dark, shiny, silky, that's going to be our 10. Super duper light, that's going to be our 1 somewhere in this neck of the woods. As it's fading out, that's like a 5 or 6. All right, so that middle value. So what you're going to be doing here between the edge and this first guideline, it's going to be a 10 when you get to this first guideline all the way around. So it's going to be a 10 all the way around this edge. It's going to transition a lot slower over here than over here or even over here. 10 to about a 6. So it's going to be 10 to 6 over here, 10 to 6 over here, all the way around. Okay. This next section is going to go from a 5 to approximately a 3. And again, it's going to be that same way all the way throughout the whole thing. And then we have a 2 and a 1. Okay? And you're just getting lighter and lighter as you go through the shape. Again, the biggest challenge, the biggest mistakes I see is when people just go across and they don't fully make a closed circle motion. And that's what you need to do. So you avoid doing that. Please turn your paper. I'm going to go around the outside edge. And as I get to that first line, I'm going to make sure I lighten up. Thank you, Alexis. All right. Again, even over here, I want it to be dark along the edge just a little bit, and then real quick lighten up. This is the one historically with students that they have struggled with the most because you have to be the most consistent. and you have to gauge how fast or how slow to lighten up your values. So people also don't turn their papers. Turning your paper is going to make a world of a difference. Now, do you see how the side of my fingers are starting to get graphite-y? If that happens to you, and I think that's happened to many folks, y'all need to get a piece of just scratch paper, any sort of sad paper, and put something underneath, because if you flatten this, if you mush it up, it will flatten the illusion. Your illusion will be gone. So please make sure as you turn, you're not rubbing on your paper, because you need these little lines. You need kind of to see your direction. You need to see things lightening up. Okay, in this fat area, in the thick area, we need to make sure that it has the most shadow. So things like this, where I can see a real big jump right here on the borderline, real easy, real light. Stay curvy, stay back and forth. Don't go across, don't go up and down. You have to stay with your direction. So now I'm to that first guideline. Now when I get to this first guideline, I can start to fill in, but I'm going to end up going back and getting rid of those little white gaps. You don't want any white gaps. The white gaps, are going to flatten things. You want to see your line direction. That's why I don't want you to do any of this business or watch the heel of your hand, that sort of deal. And then as I get here, even lighter, any lighter. Now you can obviously have some white gaps where it's supposed to be lightest, but it's also really about your pencil pressure. It's you have to push really hard. The darker you make your dark stuff and you transition appropriately, the lighter. Turn that phone off, whoever it is. Okay, come back to me. All right, so obviously you can still see my numbers and stuff. I don't want y'all to do your numbers, but can you see any guidelines? No. The guidelines should be incredibly light. The guidelines should be just there to help you. They are a tool to help you and nothing else. And again, when you have kind of small areas where you just need to make it a little bit of a smoother changeover, just kind of tickle it with a little bit of graphite. Get it in there. That looks halfway decent. Okay, so you're going to do that. Now, because I have a big old thing, when you have a big object, it's going to block light. And when light is blocked, what does it produce on the surface? Josie, a shadow. Okay? So, we're going to make it look like it's just kind of sitting on the surface. So what I'm going to do is right next to my thick edge that I had, I'm going to put in some horizontal lines. And as these horizontal lines dissipate out a little bit, I'm going to ease up on the pressure. You can smush this a little bit on the edges. Okay, and that's what y'all should be doing. So you're going to do 3 spheres at 2 inches in diameter. How do you abbreviate that? DIA? Yeah. All right. All right. Any questions? Wonderful.